Next up in my accessories is something I mentioned in a previous video with the Wolf magazine spring, is the GG&G magazine follower, which is this little red guy up in here. Oh, there you go. It's just the magazine follower. The factory Mossberg one is a stamped steel follower. It's very thin and it's not particularly smooth. This one, the outside ring is, and I'll post a picture of it because you can't really see it here. The outside ring is stainless steel and it has very little surface area that actually contacts the inside of the magazine tube. And it's a place where you can add lubricant as well. And the inside, the red part that you see is anodized aluminum. And you can easily tell the difference between a loaded shell and the magazine follower. And you can also quickly identify with the red color. The factory Mossberg followers are black. And it may not be, obviously you can usually tell the difference between a brass shell and a black follower, but it's just, this red one it's a little easier to tell, and I like the tactile feel. In addition to being able to positively identify an empty magazine tube, it's really smooth. It's a lot smoother than the other factory follower. It's butter smooth. There are no hang-ups or anything like that. And as I said with the Wolf spring, I don't know if it's the follower or the spring's fault, but I lost the capacity of one shell. So instead of an 8+1, this is a 7+1. Not a huge deal to me though. The bigger concern I have, and it's not a big enough concern, it doesn't outweigh the positives to me, because I know what causes it and I know how to fix it. It's a problem with, and I'll try to get up close here. You see that shiny edge in there? Right below the red spot? When you have shells loaded up in here, and you get down to the last one, and you load it, that didn't do it that time. But for sake of argument, I'll just show you what happens here. Sometimes when you're on the last shell, and the shell sits all the way forward, and you try to load it, again, it doesn't want to do it for the camera. So you're on the last shell. The front of the shell will catch that edge. It doesn't happen with these snap caps, so I'm going to do a no-no and use a real shell here. So the plastic blunt edge of the front of the shell will hang on that shiny spot, and it'll do that. And no matter how hard you push forward, it will not load. What you have to do is you have to back up, kind of jiggle it, and then it'll load, no problem. So I think the problem is the GG&G magazine follower is just a little short. It doesn't stick out far enough to push the shell past that shiny edge. You could file that edge down a little bit, but the problem is right behind that is the barrel. And you don't really want to weaken or cause any compromises in the barrel. But with that said, that only happens on the last round in the magazine tube, because normally when there's a shell in there, the shell itself sticks out further, and as the next one is loaded, it just slides past. Whereas the follower, it's enough of a lip there that it hangs on it when it tries to load. Like I said, it's not so much a problem that I want to remove it and put the factory one back in, but it is a concern. But as long as you know that it's going to happen on the last round, and really all you got to do is point the end of the gun up just a little bit to cause the round to slide back just a little bit like that, and then it'll go up and in, no problem. Some people might say that that's a reliability issue, but again, as long as you know that it's going to happen, or that it could happen on the last round. As you saw, it didn't happen with the snap caps, but it happened with the plastic shell. It's not that big of an issue, really. I like the functionality and the smoothness of loading that it provides. It's just, it's so smooth. And it's truly a treat to load it. And even with the tougher spring in there, it really is nice. That is the GG&G magazine follower, part number GGG-1439. Available for about 30 bucks. It provides a lot more smoothness, a positive visual and tactile feel that the magazine tube is empty. Just another part that simply works. So that wraps up the video. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, please write them in a comment below.